Hi there. Thanks so much for joining the Charlesbridge team as we talk about our upcoming spring and summer 2021 favorites. We have a stunning collection of titles to share, from a dystopian novel in verse about a girl and a robo-dog to a sweet counting book that takes a look at 10 very different animals in Antarctica. Be sure to check out our spring 2021 catalog for more. Enjoy.
One of the hallmarks of both the Lola Reed series and the Leo spin-off series is how they model great parenting practices, and these two companion titles are no exception. Both books have a similar plot structure, format, and theme, and they both celebrate the special relationships between babies and toddlers and their parents. Readers follow Leo over the course of 2 days, one mommy-centered and one daddy-centered. Leo and mommy love to build forts, do yoga, and make splashy art together. And at the end of the day, mommy's hugs are the coziest. Leo and daddy love to make pancakes for breakfast, dance to the beat, and go to the park together. When it's time to sleep, daddy's hugs are the snuggliest. Lola's little brother Leo was first introduced in the best-selling Lola Reed series in Lola Reads to Leo. Then Leo made his debut with his own adventure, Leo Loves Baby Time, followed by Leo Can Swim and Leo Gets a Checkup. These new Leo books celebrate parenthood and center a Black family's experiences for babies and toddlers. While they're available in time for Mother's Day and Father's Day this year, these heartwarming books have year-round appeal.
Hi, I'm Alyssa, and I'm going to give you an overview of our upcoming storytelling math books. Charlesbridge partnered with STEM nonprofit Turk to develop these books, and they're really different from other math picture books. First of all, they star main characters of color, BIPOC children, and most are created by own voices, authors, and illustrators. They also feature important but often overlooked math topics, like patterns and spatial relationships, that research shows are really important for young kids. And they have stories that kids will want to read again and again. You know, we expect picture books to be emotionally resonant and compelling. Why not expect the same of math picture books? The first 6 storytelling math books are out now, and they include 4 board books by superstar Grace Lin, as well as 2 really wonderful, funny, touching picture books. Just in time for Chinese New Year, or any time of year, is Luna's Yum Yum Dim Sum. Luna and her family go out for dim sum on her birthday. The 3 kids order 6 dumplings. Perfect, right? But then, splat! Oh no, now what? How can 3 kids share 5 dumplings fairly? Should the oldest get the extra? Or the youngest because he's the baby? What about the birthday girl? Or maybe they have to cut the buns into smaller and smaller pieces. I can't give away the ending, but I can tell you that it's surprising and heartwarming, and it involves empathy as much as math. At the end of the book is an author's note that talks about dim sum and Chinese zodiac. There's also a note from a math expert that includes easy activities for parents and teachers to do with their kids. Next up, we have Bracelets for Brothers, which features an Indian family celebrating Raksha Bandhan, a holiday that honors the bond between brothers and sisters. This year, Chandrika wants to make each of her 3 brothers a bracelet, all by herself. So she asks them about their favorite and least favorite colors and tries to make every other one patterns, or ABAB patterns. But it's harder than she thought. She makes mistakes and problem solves, and finally, in the end, she creates 3 special bracelets for her 3 special brothers. The back matter includes a note about Raksha Bandhan, as well as great math activities. Coming in the summer is Look Grandma, Nialisi. Bo has worked all year long on his traditional Cherokee marbles. His family says that he's finally old enough to sell them at the Cherokee National Holiday. But that means he needs a container that will hold all the marbles, fit in the booth, and look good. He tries a box, a tray, a vase, nothing works. He asks his grandma for help, but she just tells him to keep looking. Can he find something that's just the right size? So this book challenges negative stereotypes about who can do math. It stars a mathematically empowered Cherokee kid. It also fills a void. Math in Native American themed books seems limited to counting books and craft books on beating patterns. In contrast, this book is an expertly developed kid-friendly introduction to perimeter, volume, and area. And it's a great story. Usha and the Big Digger stars Indian American characters and the math of spatial sense and geometry. Usha and her big sister Artie see different things in the stars. Artie sees the Big Dipper, but Usha sees the Big Digger. There's an excavator in the sky. When the two sisters ask cousin Gloria what she sees the big kite. What's going on? Could they all be right? Spoiler alert, the girls see different things in the stars because they're looking at them from different orientations, right side up, upside down, and from the side. This mirrors how young children learn. They develop an understanding that an object can look different depending on which way it's rotated. A 3-year-old, for example, may have to hold 2 blocks side by side to tell that they're the same. A 6-year-old, on the other hand, might be able to tell just by looking. The story is also fun and relatable. All Usha wants is some respect from her older sister. Don't we all? Last but not least, we're excited to release Spanish-English bilingual editions of Grace Lynn's board books in the fall. Now even more readers will be able to discover the math in everyday play. For more information about storytelling math, please visit our website for our author and illustrator videos, downloadable math activities, and other goodies. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. This is Karen Boss. I'm an editor at Charlesbridge Publishing, and I am with you today to talk about We Are Still Here, which is a new picture book coming out in April by Tracy Sorrell and illustrated by Franny Lassac. And the subtitle of this book is Native American Truths Everyone Should Know. This book is about all of the history, about the policy, and about the different laws and rules that have been created over time that have affected Native Americans in the United States. A lot of people don't know very much about Native American history, and part of the reason for that is because Native Americans were removed from the curriculum and not really taught in the school system after a certain time. And Tracy, who is a member of the Cherokee Nation, really, this is the book of her heart. It's the book that she wanted people to have, not only kids, but also those who work with them, librarians, teachers, parents, in order to really understand how Native folks fit into the history and who really started the history of the country that we now call the United States. So I highly recommend you get a hold of this book. It's written in a really beautiful lyrical way, very similar to how We Are Grateful, Ojali Hiliga is written, which is Tracy's first book, also illustrated by Franny Lassac. And I was so happy to have the two of them come back together and create another book for everyone to learn and to read and to enjoy together.
A Thousand White Butterflies is one of my favorites this season, with its brightly colored, cozy characters and the universal theme of the first day of school, plus making new friends. Isabella and her mother and grandmother have just moved from Colombia to the United States, and Isabella is so excited to start her first day of school, or she likes to call it her Make New Friends Day. She's been missing Papa, who has had to stay behind in Colombia, and Isabella can't wait to tell him about her great first day of school. Except when school is canceled because of too much snow. Isabella didn't even know that was such a thing. She, of course, is devastated, and how is she supposed to make new friends now? But it can still be a wonderful day of firsts. Isabella meets her first friend in the US when she spots her neighbor playing outside in the snow. Her first friend, her first snowfall, and her first snow angel. Papa is going to be so excited to hear about it. Author Jessica Betancourt Perez shares Isabella's story. As a teenager, she and her family left Colombia to start a new life in the US with her grandmother, and waited 7 long years to be reunited with her father. Her and co-author Karen Lynn Williams have made a wonderful partnership in their collaboration, and Gina Maldonado's illustrations perfectly capture the snuggly, snowy atmosphere of the book. I think you'll really enjoy it.
10 Animals in Antarctica is one of my favorites on our list this season. A counting book at its core, 10 Animals in Antarctica takes readers on a tour of the icy region, home of the South Poles, introducing them to 2 courtly, portly empire penguins walking across the polar plains, 6 cheeky, sneaky orcas surveying the frosty floes, and 10 crimson vermilion sea stars creeping about on twinkle toes. I love the language and the rhythm here of the paired adjectives describing each animal, and then the action verb that is often unique and surprising. The work It works perfectly with Moira Court's distinctive artwork that brings texture and movement to each spread. Court's art is a mix of layered woodblock prints, screen prints, and collage. Moira has illustrated several children's books, and her art is often influenced by nature. This is her debut as an author-illustrator, and I think it only reinforces her wonderful talent for igniting childlike wonder for the natural world. I think we'll be seeing much more from Moira. Back matter includes information on each species mentioned, as well as a brief overview of the South Poles. Yes, poles, since there are several. This one is perfect for little ones to meet new animal faces, as well as perfect for their grown-ups to learn a thing or two about the unique creatures that inhabit our chilliest continent.
My favorite title of Spring 21 is Seaside Stroll. We go on a snowy, sandy shore walk in a story where every single word starts with the letter S. I love the alliteration, and you can hear it very clearly here. Slow steps, shuffle, straddle, saunter, stand. It's the perfect chilly read for families missing the beach, emphasizing nature and play in a unique wintry adventure. The illustrations are bright and so cozy. They make me want to curl up by the fire like the little girl does with her mom in a snuggly sweater.
For the most part, during our school years, the majority of us learned all about animals that hibernate in cold climates. But it turns out animals in extremely warm climates do something called estivate, which is another kind of sleeping. And summertime sleepers, animals that estivate, is all about this little unknown animal habit. Estivating animals become dormant because warm weather threatens their food supply, or they need to avoid increased body temperatures. From the curled up hedgehog to the burrowing spotted turtle to the leopard gecko sneaking into its cozy den, animals that estivate are truly fascinating. Written in dual-layered narrative by award-winning nonfiction author Melissa Stewart, with Sarah Brannon's realistic watercolors and scrapbook elements, this is a book you do not want to sleep on. It's perfect for curious readers in the 6 to 9-year-old age range.
I have 10,000 reasons why I love Molly Beth Griffin's and Maribel Lucega's 10 Beautiful Things. A sweet tearjerker of a story, this glorious picture book introduces us to Lily and her grandmother on a bittersweet road trip in the Midwest to Lily's new home with Graham. With a map of Iowa in the back seat, Lily struggles with her own sadness as Graham plots a course back to her farmhouse. Sensing Lily's need to find something to smile about and to look forward to in the confines of their car, Graham declares they are going to play a game. They're going to find 10 beautiful things on their way home. From a glorious sunrise to the sound of a gurgling stream to the sweet smell of new mud, Lily and Graham's list piques the senses and provides perspective, as Lily and her grandmother gently explore loss, a new home, and the power of finding beauty wherever you are. Early readers are loving Lily and Graham, with their story earning star reviews from Forward Magazine, Publishers Weekly, and Booklist. Booklist claims Molly's narrative to be, quote, plain-spoken and pitch-perfect, and PW asserts that Maribel's art is, quote, almost cinematic, alternating between dramatic vistas and intense moments of introspection and connection. Due to release on January 12th, this is a great option for any shelf in need of beautiful picture books that are perfect for parents or professionals that are helping kids navigate all kinds of change. This one also has themes of mindfulness and the idea of growth mindset woven throughout the text, providing a wonderful resource for social emotional learning and needs.
We are bringing our Boston pride with this next title. In Boston Made, authors Robert M. Krim and Alan E. Earls bring a fascinating look at Boston's history of innovation told through 50 world-changing inventions that came into being in our little city by the sea. Since the 17th century, Boston has been at the forefront of innovation, from inventions like the telephone, sewing machine, and Goodyear tires, to medical and biotech advances, to affecting social change by building the country's first public school and university, being the first state to abolish slavery, as well as the first state to legalize gay marriage. Boston Made looks at just 50 of the hundreds of Boston area inventors who have contributed to social, scientific, and commercial innovation. Each entry provides the story behind a Boston creation and how it has entertained, healed, or helped people around the world. The entries range from things most people know Massachusetts for, such as being the first of the original 13 colonies to become independent of Britain, or the wealth of theory and literature that came out of the Transcendentalist movement nestled in Concord, Mass. And then it moves to things most readers may be surprised to find out, like how we're the home of the Toll House chocolate chip cookie. It was invented as a product of the baker at the Toll House Inn, running out of both baker's chocolate and out of time. So she mixed the chips in and hoped for the best. This happy accident in 1930 was the birth of America's favorite cookie. And it is these kinds of stories behind the story that make Boston Made so much fun. Told in succinct, digestible chapters and illustrated with over 100 images throughout, this is the perfect book for those curious, history buff Bay Staters in your life. We think that this is perfect for both teens and adults who love history, factoids, and hey, did you knows?
Hi, I'm Alyssa, and I'm going to give you a preview of 13 ways to eat a fly. In this book, 13 different kinds of flies become tasty snacks for 13 different predators. As a swarm of flies buzzes along, it loses one member to each predator along the way. Sometimes the unfortunate insects are zapped or wrapped. Sometimes they're liquefied or zombified. In any case, the science is real and hilariously gross. Catchy rhyming text counts down the flies, and sidebars give deliciously gross details.
Hi there! I'm here to talk to you about We Laugh Alike, Juntos Nos Reímos, coming to you in April 2021. This book by beloved Pura Belpré honoree Carmen Bernier-Grand is a sweet and funny bilingual romp in the park. When three friends meet tres amigos, the language barrier makes them nervous at first. They pick different parts of the park to play in. But everyone's curiosity eventually gets the better of them. The lure of new songs, new dances, and new rhymes for jumping rope is irresistible. But best of all, everyone comes away with 3 new friends. With a smile at the ready and some laughter in your back pocket, these kids learn that you don't need to speak the same language to have fun together. I love this book because Alyssa Bermudez's vibrant illustrations play so well with Carmen's text. The whole book just seems to burst with energy and fun. Back matter includes a glossary of Spanish terms and a note in both languages from Carmen, urging readers who are learning a new language and making new friends to be bold and never give up.
Flip, How the Frisbee Took Flight is a nonfiction picture book biography that soars with unexpected twists and turns. Today, it's actually more than 3 million people who play Ultimate Frisbee, but few of us know the fascinating story behind this sport until now. Flip reveals how Fred Morrison is credited as the inventor. His invention quest actually began after tossing a popcorn lid in his own backyard. But before Fred's journey began, ancient Greece had flipped discs, and beginning in the 1920s, college kids were tossing pie cans. But Fred Morrison had no idea that other people around the world had been playing their own version of Frisbee. After trying and failing many times, Fred and his wife eventually were credited as the inventors of what we know today as the Frisbee. Their story is full of good old-fashioned perseverance, success, and fun. And it's a story intended for the 4 to 8-year-old age range.
From the Froggies' perspective, why go to bed when you can sneak out to play the accordion just like knights, or hold burping contests with strange alien life forms? Or maybe you want to dance out underwater ballet or tame ferocious beasties. The page designs go from white backgrounds to beautifully patterned spreads to a frog literally launching itself out of a cannon. From that point in the story, there's nowhere to go but out of this world, with beautifully vivid settings that capture the increasing chaos as the Froggies do anything and everything but sleep. Some nights, kids need warm baths and milk and quiet, repetitive I love you stories in order to fall asleep. This book is not for those nights. Some nights, you need to get your sillies out before you can relax, and a late night tickle releases enough energy so you can finally drift off to sleep, at last floating down through piles of pillowy clouds into a cozy bed. Sharp-eyed readers will notice that a purple alien from the burping contest has followed the Froggies back home to their bed and will later raid the refrigerator for a late-night snack on the end papers. So I've long been a fan of Adam Gustafson. He's illustrated several of our books, but this is his first book as author and illustrator. And I think it's a breakout book as well as one of my personal favorites of all time. Adam's draftsmanship is unparalleled and his illustrations are filled with kid-friendly humor. He's a true Renaissance man, an art teacher, a musician, a fine artist, a humorist, and it turns out a wonderful writer. The Froggies, an imaginative play, is laugh out loud funny. The art and the design ramp up the humor, and the memorable writing reads like a perfect poem. It's a beautifully executed book by a true master of the picture book form.
Hey, hi, ho there. Is anyone out there listening? I'm here to tell you about one of my favorite Summer 21 titles. D39 by award-winning poet Irene Latham is a middle grade novel in verse about a girl and her robo-dog set in a world where dogs no longer exist. Clint and her dad are just trying to survive the aftermath of a devastating civil war in the not-too-distant future. One day, as she's rearranging her museum of fond memories, she finds a genuine wartime antique, D39 Robo-Dog. Clint takes D39 on an incredible journey to find her mom. If you're looking for a fascinating middle-grade read for reluctant readers, this novel in verse has short chapters and a ton of action. This is a great title to get younger readers invested in the dystopian genre, perfect for ages 10 and up.
Hi, everybody. My name is Karen Boss, and I am an editor at Charlesbridge Publishing, and I'm here to tell you about a new book coming in 2021 called Why Longfellow Lied: The Truth About Paul Revere's Midnight Ride. So listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere. That's something that we all know. It's Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's famous poem. And the thing is that most people know about the poem, and they think that it's an accurate account of that night that Paul Revere did his famous ride on the night of April 18th and 19th, 1775. That's when the American Revolution began. But it turned out that Longfellow twisted the facts in the poem. He lied. Why did he do that? So the author of this awesome book is Jeff Lantos, and he's an educator from California. He does things like writes musicals, original musicals for his fifth graders to perform. And he really delved into this research and into the history, and he broke down not only what happened on that night, but also how Longfellow wrote it. And then he reveals in the book why Longfellow wrote it that night, why Longfellow lied. I hope that you'll enjoy this. It's for middle graders. It's a fantastic read. It moves quick, just like that night did. Thanks.